All right, podcasts are all done. A little bit of After Dark here with Doug Orlowski, Crypt Keeper of Drew's Secrets. I don't know where you guys want to start.
Yeah.
Don Lemon, Tucker Carlson.
Fired.
Yeah.
Wait.
I mean, I don't know where you want to go with this.
Okay, well, if we're just talking like this is what, Chris, we talk about this. The beauty of this format is that it's we're going to have a show that's non-football. We're just going to talk a little shit. Maybe it is a football tie. Maybe it doesn't. Here's what I like. Was it a one-for-one trade? That's all I want to know. As an outsider who's politically agnostic, because you've all heard my opinion. And listen, guys, we have a couple rules at a Rockpile Report tailgate. You show up, you don't talk religion, you don't talk politics.
And you don't talk to Bridget.
No, you do talk to Bridget.
Wait, time out.
If you're just trying to antagonize her.
Your ex?
No, her name was Brittany.
Yeah, I know.
No,
just making sure you knew.
You don't talk to that broad because she's at the bottom of a river somewhere, at least in my mind. In my mind, that girl met a bad end somewhere, and it was hilarious. And I just haven't found the obituary yet. What? Did I say that out loud? So here's what I know.
Well, I mean, when she...
Damn it. See, this is where he knows all my dirty laundry. He and I being roommates for years, we have a lot of stories. Here's what I'll say. I know the Tucker Carlson, the Don Lemon thing. Was this a one-for-one trade the way I want a one-for-one trade in politics?
It's not a trade. They got fired. Lemon got fired from CNN for shit ratings. Guy was just legit awful at his job.
Yep.
And then
Tucker
I guess
Carlson, he's off of Fox now too.
But that's because of the lawsuit.
He's also not good at, well, we can fight about that for hours.
His face just morphs into his neck.
He just has a punchable face. We talk about Dan Snyder having the most punchable face. Tucker Carlson's not far behind him. I'm politically agnostic to the point where I constantly talk about this idea that if you ever really wanted the government to start working for people again, you just load on a bipartisan basis. You just start loading people into helicopters and throwing them out over the ocean and then go, hey, assholes, get back to work or you're next.
Chris, this is also coming from a dude who walked around a chick in his apartment in Lancaster in a dog collar and chain.
All right.
And that's why he couldn't come out drinking one night. We're like, dude, hey, you want? I'm like, come on, man, meet me out, bro. I can't. Because I was still married at the time when that split. That the next guy she got with was the complete opposite of Drew. No,
because she figured she tried to ride the lightning and figured out she couldn't hang.
He was insanely effeminate.
Listen,
he was the worst. He didn't watch sports, so I didn't like him.
He was the guy. The guy that she left after Drew was probably a guy who watched So You Think You Can Dance.
This is it. So guys, for those of you who don't know at home, Chris and I are friends. You're watching us on YouTube for the first time. Chris and I are friends, but our friendship was brought together by the fact that my ex-girlfriend was friends with his ex-wife. Now, she cheats on him. His marriage falls apart. He comes to my house.
We had a burning ceremony at my house.
Yeah.
We don't need to go into details on that, but that was hilarious. So it's one of the reasons your friends love Chris.
Yes.
So with that said, my ex and I have this ugly breakup.
They said, is the burn guy coming? I said, yes.
I marry up. Now, Chris and I are in wildly productive relationships. And at the same time, what brought us together was that these two women who connected us were both terrible.
Yeah.
And then they went on to meet bad ends.
Yeah.
Now, mind you.
You had season tickets, then I got season tickets, and then we started doing a podcast.
And look at you now.
And now look at us.
Look at you now.
Now look at me. I'm 38. I'm newly 38 years old.
And when's the last time you tied someone down and whipped them?
Stop it.
Right. It's been a minute. It's been a minute,
It's all conjecture. This is all hearsay.
It's been a minute.
There's no evidence.
Do you even own a dog collar and gag chain?
Again, this is all conjecture. Now, here's what I'll say. If there's anything out of tonight's show that I really want to talk about, it's this thing where you can have two different ideas of how something should be, and yet you find a middle, right? That's the draft. isn't it?
Absolutely.
Like, it's draft week. If I had to theme this fucking conversation, it's that you have two different ideas of how something should exist. God knows we live it every day. We watch people walk around and scream about it.
Yeah.
It's hilarious that two people got fired off national TV on opposite sides of the aisle on the same day.
Yeah, the Aaron Rodgers trade. Lemon gets fired.
Aaron.
Yeah, Carlson gets fired. It's been a hell of a day.
Here's what I think. I think that it's fair to assume that everything that everyone says is horse shit and the truth lies somewhere in the middle, right? Like, I used to do that. I used to have to do it.
Yeah.
I would go to Fox News, I'd go to CNN, I would read the same story from two different sides and then try to figure out where the truth was in the middle.
You know what's funny?
Now it's gotten to a point where you can't even do that.
I was just talking to my dad today because after I returned my tux from my sister's wedding.
Yeah, his sister gets married on a Sunday.
On a Sunday, saving money. So I had to go over there.
Saving money.
Hey, my dad paid for it. He was saving money. Saved like $8,000. So good for you, Frank. So after that, I went over there. My sister was over at my parents' house. I had to drop something off. And it was a wedding gift someone gave me that couldn't fit on the table, but they put it in our SUV. So I went to my dad, and we were talking about that. He goes, "You see who got fired today?" And I said, "Yeah." And me and my dad have different political views.
Sure.
And well,
of course
again,
you do.
But we don't talk about it.
Of course,
so,
because
whatever.
you're normal people.
Right. So it is what it is.
It's not
you know
even don't
what I mean?
talk about it. You don't fight about it because realistically it doesn't matter in your relationship.
It doesn't. So we were talking about these two that got fired today. And I said, "You know what, Dad?" I go, during the last election, I wanted to prove to my wife, Emma, a point. So I DVR'd CNN, MSNBC, and Fox. Okay? They all did the same story. All three different views.
Yep.
All three.
A whole different story.
They delivered it
Yep.
differently. And it came off differently.
Now, Doug.
Same thing.
I'm a guy who went to school I hold a degree in journalism. You think I can't see the difference? Yeah. And that's what makes it infuriating to me is to watch this going on. Now, also understanding what that is to sports journalism, everybody has an agenda. Every outlet that takes cash has a skew.
Especially during the draft.
Especially this time of year.
Smoke and mirrors.
And so here's what it is, though. They also know where they get fed. So the teams that have a message to be delivered, certain outlets will be mouthpieces for that team. Mm-hmm. Certain outlets are very comfortable saying things that might not, like Chris, we know Tyler Dunn. Now, I'm not trying to cast aspersions, but Bob McGinn, who is a part of Tyler Dunn's coverage over at GoLongTD.com, he's the one who broke the story about C.J. Stroud doing so poorly on that S2 test. Yeah. Now, again, this isn't to cast aspersions. This is just to open up the question of you're talking about football topics, but unfortunately, it has to. I have to question, like, okay, you as Bob McGinn are so old and removed from things, you're old enough to not give a fuck. And that's where we'd all like to be, right?
Yeah.
It's where I am now politically. I'm old enough where I don't have to be some young kid who's trying to impress my friends with what I know about some senator. Was that ever a thing when we were growing up?
Never.
Chris,
I never left the bar. You know, I never left the bar at 4 o'clock. I never left the bar at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, man, Drew and that slam pig from the Tim Hortons drive-thru really have good political views on these candidates that are coming up. You know, man, he should really get into that. We never once had that. Never one time. I walked out of a bar and be like, man, what an asshole. You know what I mean? But, like, we never that's just not what we did.
Doug, you remember the night you came to get me? I had my shirt buttoned to one button. It's a Hawaiian shirt. Chris, I just came from being at the beach all day.
I remember that.
What, Doug comes out on the patio. No. Here's what it was. No, it was Lake Erie, but it wasn't Sunset Bay because I'm poor. So what I did was I went down to, what was it? Not even Captain Kidd's over at Mickey Rat's. It was the South Shore Beach Club next door to Mickey Rat's because they were the only beachfront bar that you could bring a cooler onto the bar full of beer because they were so poor they just wanted you there.
That was the night Jeff Deviney and Joe LaRosa pepper sprayed someone on the beach.
Yes. So what happened was so I left and I come to J.P. Fitzgerald's in Hamburg. Now, I've been at the beach all day. I'm hanging out in a shitty Hawaiian shirt that only has like one button.
He looked like Tony Soprano with AIDS.
And Doug comes and gets me as I'm smoking a Parliament.
P-Funk, baby.
A Parliament Light. And he goes, hey, there's a fight inside the bar. And I go, not tonight there isn't. And I fucking flick my cigarette and I walk in. And here's Rizzo talking to some guy with a collar as high as his ears.
Yellow.
He's got it popped up.
Yellow polo.
Rizzo said something to the girl. She's like, I have a boyfriend. He goes, that guy? You have sunglasses and a pop collar on at a bar at 11 o'clock at night?
And it's our bar.
And I stepped in front of the guy. And he goes, oh, if your friend says one more word, he's going to get hurt. And I looked him up and down and I go, buddy, look at me, look at you. There's nothing happening tonight. There's nothing happening. Why? Because I'm fat, I'm sweaty, and I'm still, like, you're not going to threaten my friend in front of me. That's what went on in bars when like, that was, now you have people trying to have political discourse in a fucking bar.
Hold on.
Chris.
Wait, hold on.
Where does it end, Chris?
I don't know.
Wait, do you remember, because you just brought up a bar story. I just remember this. Do you remember the dude we met at that bar across from the Galleria?
And we brought him back we actually, so yesterday,
what
2
bar
days
was
ago,
that
hang on,
called?
whoa. It was Doc Sullivan's.
No, I know the bar we ended up at. What bar were we at across the Galleria?
We were at Gordon Beer.
That's it.
We were at Gordon Biersch across from the Galleria Mall. Our friends were on a bar crawl. We meet a guy. We bring him back to South Buffalo with us to go to Doc Sullivan's.
So we meet
He rode with me.
Chris, he has never met this dude before.
Doug, now, if this will tell you who I am as a person, Doug met him. Davini met him. They loved this guy. They thought he was the best. They go, he's got to come with us back to the bar. So he rides with me because nobody has any room left in their cars. I'm talking to this guy. He's got a wife. He's got a kid.
I wasn't taking a stranger in my car.
They're all out of town. I don't give a shit.
I know.
A stranger can get in my... What, is he going to carjack me? I'll bite that guy's face. So we get to the bar, and he starts trying to tell my friend that his wife... He starts trying to tell our friend Davini that his wife is cheating on him.
Dude, it was...
He's hammered. He's blackout drunk. And he's trying to tell, hey, you better watch out for her. She's a snake. Now, Chris, as a guy who's been cheated on, you would have liked a little heads up.
Yeah.
Also, farthest thing from the truth, and you just met these people 5 minutes ago.
Right, you just met us.
Think about what a wild accusation that is. Like, if someone that you don't know and doesn't know your wife approached you and said that, how would you react?
And remember when we're walking up?
Hang on, Chris. How would you react in that moment?
I don't even know.
So,
we're outside of Doc's smoking.
And this guy comes out and says it one more time, and I see the bar spill out. And they're like, we're going to kill this guy. So I drove him. I'm thinking to myself, I brought you here. Whether it's my fault or not, I can't let anything bad happen to you. So I take him under my wing, and I kind of skirt him out the back. And we end up at JoJo's Pizzeria on Seneca Street.
Oh yeah, it's like a block away.
It's a block away. We're in the pizzeria. I've called him a cab. Now, this is before Uber. I called him a cab. I think everything's done. Doug, what happened outside JoJo's Pizzeria?
He got out.
The fucking South Buffalo mob showed up outside the pizzeria. And they're like, tell that guy to come out. Mm-hmm. Tell that guy to come out here. And I was like, guys, nobody's putting their hands on this guy because now I'm personally responsible for him. The tough, fucking Joey.
And then Blaine.
Joey and Blaine.
Blaine.
Doug.
Play his name is Blaine, Chris.
Chris, these guys used to do the Mr. Buffalo competitions. They are both outside screaming for this guy's head. They're like, get him out here.
We're going to fucking kill him.
His name was Blaine?
Blaine.
Reminds me of the Ski Patrol guy from Hot Tub Time Machine.
Yes.
That type of personality.
My thing was, I brought him here. I'm sorry. Joey, I know I can't fight you. Blaine, I can't fight you. But I'm gonna. if I have to.
Drew is at the top of his lungs on a South Buffalo sidewalk. Hey, listen. I gotta protect this fucker. I brought him here. You guys ain't killing him. This is on me.
Nobody's putting your hands on him. Everyone shut up. The cab will be here in 20 minutes. And when the cab showed up, I shoved him in there, and I was like, you have no idea how lucky you are. Now get out of here, because now I got to go deal with this.
That was hilarious. I was never. It was me and Davini's fault, because we were telling you to take this guy with us.
Yes.
And the only time I don't know why. I think it was because we were drinking, and I was so mad at you. I was on the street. I go, dude, you brought this guy here, and all you kept saying is, "What are you talking about? You told me to bring him." And then the only other time I was mad at you, is when all I did was tell you, "Hey, don't get on the turnpike." Don't get on the PA Turnpike. We can't get off, okay?
So hang on. Your mistake was thinking that I knew what the turnpike was.
All I want to tell you is, hey, listen, I'm exhausted. We just drank for the last 3 days in Maryland. I ripped out a roid in the hotel room this morning. I need a nap, okay? So when we get like 5-10 miles away from the turnpike,
up and we were on the turnpike.
I'm like,
Chris,
this is all I said to him. I go, hey, bro, I'm going to take a little nap. Just tap me on my leg, my shoulder, say, hey, we're 5 miles away from the turnpike. Because I knew he gets on the turnpike, we're done. So I wake up. Drew's just whistling Dixie, smoking a cigarette in his car. I wake up, I go, hey, man, give me a smoke. He hands me a smoke. I light my Parliament, and I'm coming to, and I'm like, hey, man, where are we? And you're like, we've been on the turnpike for about 20 minutes. I'm like, what did you just fucking say to me? He goes, we're on the turnpike. I go, you just added 2 hours and 37 minutes to our ride. You're like, well, we got a full pack of smokes. I was so mad at him. I just wanted to get home. And once you're on that thing, you can't get off.
This is what I love about having him here. Guys, agnostic. You have to learn how to be it. No matter what happens, no matter what anyone says, you have to learn how to be agnostic. Isn't that the NFL draft?
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. It doesn't matter what you have to say. It's, can I stare straight down the barrel of this thing that I don't like and just find a way to be like, well, we're going to ride it out.
And it also, too, do you notice this? The same GMs, a lot of the time, trade with each other.
Oh, for sure. Why? Because they're like, hey.
Nobody trades with Dave Gettleman because nobody likes him.
Well, that's it. Hey, Chris, why do you think he doesn't have a job anymore?
If I was a GM for an AFC team and you were a GM for an NFC team, I would trade with you all the time.
This is it. Hey, whoa. If I was a successful GM.
Yeah, and I was too.
And Chris, hey, let's say you had an NFC franchise. And I go, that guy knows his shit. I know what I'm doing. He kind of knows what he's doing. The three of us are going to form a pact where we go, hey, fuck all these other guys. These new guys, fuck them.
Right.
There's very few guys who are willing to take up the way I took up for that guy. And I'll tell you what, he was from Arkansas. I'll never forget this. He was from Arkansas. He's crying in the pizzeria going, I don't know why I get so drunk. I got a wife and kid, and they just stress me out so bad. And in that moment, I'm like, there's nobody in this city who's going to put a hand on this fucking guy. I'll fight everybody. They're my friends. I'll fight them if I have to. This is what happens come draft time. You find your friends. You find the people you know. Chris, the Carolina-Buffalo connection.
Yeah.
Like, it's a real thing amongst GMs.
It's a real thing.
They have friends. They have people they know. They have people they trust, or at least people that they at least trust the way in the movie Draft Day, where he's like, I trust I know you.
Yeah.
I trust that we're not friends, but I know you. Mm-hmm. And I know what I can take from you. And I know what you might want from me. And so you do business.
Give it another year or two. You'll see the Giants and the Bills make some trades.
Yeah.
Give it another year or two. Let him get comfortable. Let him get his own thing. They'll do it.
I'm telling you, you have to remain agnostic this time of year because they are friends. We don't know each other. Mm-hmm. Right, left, indifferent. They're friends and we are not.
True that, homie.
But we could be. Us as fans, we have one team. These GMs have to think about 32 other teams.
Yeah.
And so in that way, they make friends that we might not approve of. But guess what? You love it. Mm-hmm. You accept what comes out of it.
Yeah. I think it's just smart business. Plus, you want to be comfortable with what you're doing.
You need to be draft agnostic in all things.
No doubt.
You need to learn to adopt a stoicism where no matter the situation, the time, the place, you can remove yourself from it, your ego, your emotions, and just live it. Let it happen.
You have to take emotion out of those decisions.
I love it. Chris, when's the last time you took... Oh, wait, you don't have any emotions. I don't even have to ask that.
No, Jessica can break down my emotions real good.
Yeah?
She's got that wrapped around her fingers, but...
you want to get into detail?
No, I don't.
He goes, I don't want to tell a single story
No,
about myself.
I'm not...
Will she tell a story Thursday when she gets a couple drinks in her at the draft?
Maybe. I don't know.
I'm going to specifically ask her, when's the last time you made Chris emotional? And I'm going to wait
Sunday.
to see what she comes back with. Oh, Sunday.
Yeah, it was
What
Sunday.
happened?
What happened?
I'm not fucking
I'm
telling.
not telling.
What happened? Wait.
He goes, I'm not telling.
Was it during something?
No, it was. I don't know. I've been living. I moved in with her like a year ago. Mm-hmm. So.
Oh, it was her anniversary?
Yeah, and then.
Oh, and she did something, and it was a gesture.
Can I ask you something?
Made you soft.
Chris, can I ask you something?
It warmed your heart. It warmed your cold black heart.
Chris, focus on me.
All right.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Did she get you the GIMP outfit from Pulp Fiction?
No, we don't. We don't have that in our household.
No.
Drew might.
Chris.
That's for sure. But
Hey. I plead the fifth. You, Chris. I love that for as indifferent as you seem, you also have a soul.
Yeah, I have a soul.
You do.
Jessica owns it. Yeah. Anybody got any bar stories? Leave them down in the comments below. I mean, the last After the Dark we did, Kyle Washington mentioned that he almost got a DWI and hit a horse in Las Vegas. So I'd love to.
I love it. Kyle, you can come party with us.
I'd love to know
what
something
I'm talking about
that.
is the theme of the night is just agnostic. Just find a way to be it. Find a way to be it, no matter what the cost. I can't wait till we do another one of these. But for tonight, we're gonna get the hell out of here. I'm Drew Garrett. That's Doug Roloski. That's Chris Kruger. And this has been your Rockpile Report After Dark.